Okay.
So it could be a few internal dynamics that you have to kind of overcome, but like later on, those things make a lot more
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
Okay. No, the reason I'm bringing this up is because these are parts of a career that a lot of people think that it's just, I'm given a job. In fact, even the very concept of what a job is can change so dramatically depending on what you're tackling at that particular point in time. At some
Yeah.
point, it's a conversation with someone. At some point, it's thinking of what is the proposal? How do you put that whole thing together?
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
at some other point it's persuasion. So it's never about this whole thing which comes under the umbrella of work
Yeah.
is so dispersed, I mean so diverse, and you'll find that there are certain things you're good at and certain things that you dislike doing, but you still have to do it.
Yeah. It's part of the
So
motion.
we
Yeah.
were yeah, I just want to come back to, so what are the parts that were difficult for you to sort of get a, where did you feel that things were slowing you down and you felt that, maybe if this was easier then I could get things done faster?
Yeah. I guess sometimes, even though engineering is broad and you are sort of restrained with a lot of systems, there's different ERP systems, there's different maintenance systems. For example, when I was at a reliability engineer again at Fonterra, all the different assets and different machines that are in your plant were not really, I guess, translated the same way into the system. So if there's a breakdown and it's a pretty big plant, it's got like yogurts happening at one place, milk processing at one place, UHT, which is like your carton packages going at one place. If those machineries and those assets are not listed into that system, and where that breakdown happened or a problem happened, or how do I actually minimize that problem, having that same sort of transition into the system was not really there. And then that used to create a lot of confusion for production teams and engineering teams. And those are like
Okay.
certain like real life examples, I guess, where you want the world to be perfect, but it's not. And then you have to take each step, one step at a time to actually find things. And that's one thing I've learned. Like, Rome wasn't built in a day, so you have to sort of like work your way towards systematically to a one problem at a time, and sort of like just keep narrowing it down and keep working on those tasks, and then slowly you'll start seeing those results. So that was one of the things, I guess, which I
Okay. So
challenges
give
there.
me an example of a production crisis that probably cropped up unexpectedly, and what was your response to that? How was it tackled? What are the kind of things that you looked at?
Yeah. So the good example would be from, I guess, my pulp and paper days, because you're working on a big $10 million project. A crisis would be, like, you're expecting a delivery of these big couple of Podacom buildings, and they need to arrive at a certain time, and they need to be placed at a particular spot with a concrete pad or something, for example, and the concrete pad is not being laid out because it rained yesterday, so it's not completed yet. But yet you need to get that delivered and you need to get that placed because you had a set deadline so you can get the office staff into these Protocom offices, I guess. So those were like one of the examples or one of the problems which we had to deal with and come up with a bit of a solution of how we're going to navigate through this crisis and make sure like everyone is still happy. And so what we had to do, I guess, at that stage was get the delivery in, and we had to had some sort of like temporary arrangements for the office staff. Had to get the placement of these protocoms delivered to a different location, which was already set up with the concrete pad. Reroute the freight company at a week later's time, get the concrete laid out, and then put these office blocks in. So yeah,
Okay.
it's like, I mean, you can plan a lot of things, but yeah, on the day of a project engineer, like things could really change, and you have to just think on your feet and come up with a solution.
Okay. If you're in an office job, it was, I think, much easier during COVID. But New Zealand was not during the first phase of COVID. They managed to keep it down, so life was not affected. You were able to go to the plant and go ahead and work like normal.
Yeah, so we engineering was classified as the critical workers, or I can't remember the word now. There was some sort of services to the critical operations or something.